I don't know if I just missed it or if, I don't know, maybe I just haven't been looking good enough for the little signal, but anywho, I'm just going to go ahead and say some things. I don't think I have any evidence, right? So I was about preschool, about 5 years old. I was in preschool, and then I went to the doctor. He was a good doctor, and they had like images that they would pop up on the screen and just act naturally. And then I'm too aware. It's not a damn problem. If I at that moment, if I would have just been myself, I probably could have gotten the actual help I needed, and maybe I would be going through all this. But nonetheless, it would show like a puppy, and I would just be like obviously faking it, because I knew what was going on. It was like, then it would show like, something scary or something, and then I would just be like, just faking it. And at the end of the thing, he was just like, he just knew I was faking it, and then I was just like, oh, okay. Then he was just like, oh, your son's fine. But like as I shook his hand, I was just, oh, okay, it was just awkward. But anyhow, he knew, and I knew, and that's how that little situation went. Yeah, then people were. I was in preschool that people were first observing me. After that, kindergarten came along, and then same thing. And just recently, I was taking a psych class, and because everything's kind of coming out, they really didn't want people helping me, or like speaking up to say like, oh, like something's off here, like the whole school seems to be against him. So they would just kind of intimidate them, and that happened to like a psych teacher of mine, and she went through like a meltdown. And then like teachers were just kind of believing the gossip, but then that like it was because of like just me being anxious, so it was causing everyone else to be anxious, which part of it was. There was a biology teacher that had a meltdown. Every day was just like horrific in the classroom. There was her, and then there was it was kind of like a sociology class or psych class or something just recently, and yeah, they had some guy come in there. He looked really familiar from like when I was a kid, so I guess that's what he is, just some CIA freak. He was up in that class, and he was monitoring. Just so happened right around that time that shit's getting heavy. And so there's a biology teacher, the other that psych teacher. There was a English teacher. She had a meltdown too. And thing about that teacher, okay, well, I think I've seen someone. I'm assuming it was her grandson, because he looked just like her, like everything, and he seemed to know, like, they got that look in their eye, like they know me, but I don't know them. And he definitely looked like him, and I would see him at the gym a lot. And he was like a racist against white people. Like you could totally tell he's like, I'm cool. I hang out with black kids. And it's just like, dude, that you're just a psycho who like makes like your parents probably just make them have sex with whoever and have sex with them, whatever. Who knows what's going on. Anyways, that's just that little story about that specific teacher who like trying to hit on me too. Anyways, also there's like a right down the street from me. If you take Choco going down Choco until you get to the end where the thing starts, you make a right on your Coloma. Right down the street, it's called the Chateau Court, which is ironic because I'm pretty sure that's where they're having like I believe like sacrifices and stuff like this, and it all has to do also with me because of just the ultimate censorship and stuff, and monitoring of me, and so I think they might be doing stuff like that. And right around like I don't know, maybe 10th grade or something, I was just chilling with my ex-best friend Kenny, and then I was just like, oh, see that? It's called the Chateau something. Like I was like, isn't it ironic? I was like, I told you, I think people are watching me and stuff. And then I was like, see, it's kind of like the movie, the Chateau d'If, and I'm the Jesus Christ picture. Now it's all coming to fruition, which is crazy that it actually happened. 'Cause I never thought it would actually happen like that, but it did. So I guess I played my cards right. Like I said, I already finished my mission. But anyways, after I told Kenny about that, I think he had some motivation from from a relative of his, and then I think he was recording me on like he had like a 5 CD changer. I think he had like a CD that was just like listening, and as I would freestyle, and I spit a lot of freestyles up in his room, and yeah, I could. And then after a while, I kind of was catching on, but I was like, "This is perfect." It had to happen like that because he wasn't the first one monitoring me, not by a long shot. Like I said, since I was a kid, since I was a kid, planes over my head and stuff. But I would kind of I was able to see what was going on, but at the same time, I try to play it off like I really didn't know what was going on. So anywho, so yeah, that happened, and let's see what else. And then even like plant science teacher, they intimidated her. Um, she wanted, people are naturally good and they want to help, and the whole system's against someone. It's pretty scary, and it's pretty scary for them too if they start realizing anything, and they just kind of like, okay, let's just help them out, whatever. And like also like I think the entire school is a part of like the satanic group, and definitely a big time. I think all the mascot is a ram, but namely a lot of the art section is definitely big time. Um, I used to think that I could control the weather. I didn't know if they were like manipulating the weather because like it would like go off my emotions, which was crazy. So I don't know if that was just coincidence, but it seems, look where we're at. Anything's possible, right? So I'm just saying, I don't know. And then yeah, like they were flying over my head at a very young age, and kind of doing these commercials that would things that I would say, and they'd be in a commercial. Oh snap, crazy! But I would just kind of play it off like I didn't know what was going on, just because I didn't want to seem too aware, because it would like something would happen. But I manipulated it to where they just were able to keep me alive, and I could still pump out material without getting killed. So like there's this movie called Nightmare that's out right now. It's like kind of people that have as we speak, and some's going over my head, but it's called Nightmare, and the boy's name is Chris, and he has the thing where like the TV like blanks out, and then like a guy comes on and says, "Chris, we're watching you," which is funny because that actually happened to me. And again, I just kind of was like, "Oh shit, I just better be careful," So that really happened, just like that. Again, the movie Nightmare, and notice like it's kind of weird that all these movies are coming out on Netflix right now, like Truman Show and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, The Game, which I haven't seen, but I was kind of watching it, and it's the same thing. The guy pops on the huge ring, welcome to the game, and then Nightmare, like I was just talking about. Sorry, but then I don't know, this is like a side note, but at the health institute that I go to, just out of nowhere, all of the wall art, which was like inspirational quotes, like little, they have like little posters that are inspirational quotes. Everything's been taken down. It all happened one day. I don't know if that was relevant to anything, but that's what happened. And then Milton Bart's mother was like the leader of a language arts department. I went out with his daughter Louise, which the leader of the language arts would have been her grandmother, and she had like a tattoo that said games, and I was talking to her ex-boyfriend, now I believe it's her ex-boyfriend Julian, and he was telling me that she showed him that and said something about it's like has to do with her grandmother and family or something. So I think it has some like weird game because I went over there one time, and then I was talking. He's like the first rule is never trust dad. And then like later I was like in the bathroom, and I was just like, I'm using the restroom. And he's like, hurry up in there. He's like, you're not doing drugs, are you? I was like, I wish. And he's like, no, you don't. And then something else happened, and he was just like, I was like, but you told me never to trust you. Remember, that's the first rule. And he was just like, oh, creepy. But anywho, so yeah, like I said, the college I believe is part of it, and then the grandmother, with the game, she said it related back to her grandmother and her family, I think. And anywho, oh yeah, Anthony Scheid, and I believe he has like a brother or something, and he was at the gym, and he had like a Black Panther tattoo. Um, he said he was like some sort of preacher somewhere, some Christian church, and Anthony's son actually became a model, I think. They're all. Um, and then they like so at first it was like big, and then it was like kind of like CIA, I'm assuming, or something, that were monitoring me. And then they kind of stopped for a while because I just learned to be quiet and not say so many things, so they couldn't use my material as much. And so like I was able to get by like that. And then I think maybe it kind of started up again before Kenny, but then definitely Kenny happened. And then that was like the first thing. But then like I don't know, somewhere along the line, I don't know. But anyways, like just local people around town, they offered their kids like positions, like especially like if they perform sort of like sex act, or how the system works. But so a lot of people around town got famous. There was a firefighter. He was actually a good dude, um, and he's just a good dude. But he had ended up having to move to Alaska. He was a dear friend of my parents' friend, and he was a genuinely good dude. But he just figured, wow, like because he just kind of went with the propaganda of me being a weirdo, and everyone kind of believed it because that's what was pushed in order to cover up for all of this, which is now coming out to the open. And then there was like apparently a masquerade party. I think my family held these masquerade parties, and I don't know. I don't want to get too much more into that, but basically everyone around town, they're kind of friends with the family, so I think they might have shown me something and on like the screen or something, and it's just kind of like, okay, like maybe I'm not such a bad guy, but it was like the final step in saying, well, even if he's not a bad guy, whatever he did in the past, he's just a weirdo, so we'll all just go along with it, even though we see now. It was like an expression of like, we knowingly sacrifice this dude, at least his character, even though he might not be a bad guy, but whatever, it's kind of like symbolic, I guess. And I entrusted a couple of guys. I don't want to say their names, but with some heavy information. And once you kind of realize what's going on, it kind of makes everyone lose it, or they're either in denial or they really do lose it. They just don't really know what. It's kind of like, what do you do? It's the system so fucked. And I believe I saw like a secret room in the Bartz's house, and like it had like, cause I went in, I was like, whoa, look at that, and like it looked like the bookshelf was all like I don't know, like pulled out or something, and I was like, what the heck? And then I went in the closet, and then I was like, what are these bags? And they're just like, go, why are you doing? Get out of here, get out of here. And I was like, oh, sorry, like, I'm sorry. And they were just like, whoa, like, dude, I was like, sorry, I just, that was cool though. It looked like a secret room. And they were just like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I was like, okay. Was that what this is? That's the same family where the dude like put the knife right to my head and almost stabbed me with it because he was like mad. And then also like before that, we were. He's like, you want to go? This was like a few years before, and he's like, let's go to the Deep Creek. So we walked down Deep Creek, and there was like a dude there. He was like ex-marine, and he was like really like freaky. Like I thought he was gonna like try to stab me. And I was like sitting back. I was like, I'm not getting close to this woman. And he's like, hey, you need to move from there. I don't like people sitting behind me. I was just like, all right, man, I'm gonna go. And then like Eugene was really trying to make me stay, and I think it was kind of like a setup there. But anyhow, dodge that one. That was pretty easy to dodge. I think family members were willing to kill me, but who knows? Maybe I just say JK on that so I don't get kicked out. This lady, Wendy Steen, was telling me a story about how she worked for like a Christian school up here, and she offered the boy to come live with her, I think, and I guess she was texting the boy about like, you could come over and I'll make you and your friends brownies come over. And then like apparently the boy's girlfriend was just like, you're weird or something, and she just made it sound like she just was offering the kid some brownies and telling him to come over, and it didn't seem like anything to me. But it did seem kind of odd to me, but because she was just trying, in the end she made it seem like she was the victim and something, I don't know. So that's that. I think rituals take place at Lions Park, at top of the hill. I think that's where they have like weird rituals. That entire soccer. I think like the entire soccer, like Southern California soccer. Well, I don't know if they're mad at me because they just glitched for a second. But like, yeah, the entire soccer, Southern California. I don't know if they're involved with the trafficking or just with this right here. But they seem to, I don't know, they're all coerced together. Same with the mailman, he's always fucking with my stuff, I think. CPS, police, fire, AMR, soccer. Met this like CIA referee who said he was like ex-CIA, I believe, and he's like a really like tightwad kind of dude. He told me that he was ex-CIA, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm about done, I guess. I don't really want to get into too much because I might mess some stuff further. And I got a lot more, but and then like a lot of people got famous. Like the Young family, pretty much all of them are like involved with Hollywood. Michael Leftwich, he got involved with Hollywood, I think. I don't know if like Nils Woods, he had like they were trying to make him seem like the world's greatest soccer player. At least his parents were too, and they worked for the prisons, and I think they had part with to do with the monitoring. Evelyn Hernandez and her family, I think, had some sort of role. Joelle Martinez, ex-Navy, even ex-girlfriend Tranisha Winters, she was the one who had the dirty computer, and I recently saw her walking around the thing. I didn't recognize her, but I did. That's yeah. Some guy named Marty Green. Apparently, he had like tops on the what is it called? Whatever that new thing is, where you make your own music and put it on. Marty Green. I seen him, and then not only did I see him at McDonald's and talk to him and say like, oh hey, whatever, and come make conversation. I actually think I saw him again when I was down in Inga. And I think then which they took me to Fresno to a little place, and then I think I saw Marty Green there again. I think he was just kind of there. Deep state stuff, whatever. And then I think like Louise Sparks, she was getting really into like talking to rappers on Twitter, I guess. Like she would say something and then like Twitter, so I think it was all connected to me. I think that's why they were so quick to like say, I don't know, it's just how she was able to contact them. J. Cole recently talked to him, I don't know. A girl named Jasmine, I don't know. Joey Martinez, definitely involved with the monitoring, I think. Some guy named Benjamin, he was an ex-Marine too now, but he graduated with me, and his like wife or girlfriend has been like writing on Facebook. So Benjamin, ex-Marine, Joel Martinez, Navy. I don't know. He was always kind of like a jealous dude ever since like I was just like after you pull bitches and you couldn't. I don't want to say too much about certain things. Yeah, but not to get famous. But yeah, I was just kind of portrayed as a talented idiot through these videos that these guys are making, but flipped on his head. A girl I was dating, her brother made a video about like him rapping, and it was just one of my freestyles, and he just tried to make it seem like he was freestyling. I'm assuming they offered him stardom or whatever they offered these people that use the God stuff. Illuminati, I remember being in 10th grade and or 9th grade, and dude, Esteban was hung like a horse, and he just kind of would, I don't know, it was just all like 03, it was just hit really big, and I was like, this is weird, like what's with the 03, and it's like, it seemed like it was a gang thing, like Bloods, but really it was like, that's just weird, like what is this with like the weirdness, and like what does that even mean to me? I could tell that something was going on, and so I'm smart enough to tell what's going on, but anyways, that's the wrong, he ended up being in porn, and it was called Evasive Angles. I actually bought the DVD, and some girl I met online I believe she was in one of those. I forgot her name, but yeah, it was called Evasive Angles, and she was kind of like a catfish. It would be like a catfish. She was like pretty ugly. Sorry, that's rude, but she wasn't so attractive as she was online. My homie Andy's neighbors, you could probably find out some goods on them. They're always hanging around with my current neighbor right there, and also the neighbor of the neighbor, Mr. Ruiz. He was a plant teacher. He knows about that guy. I think I saw Miss Flo and Jack Donaldson, who they just kind of considered me a N-word lover, I guess. And, I think I saw their son-in-law, I know Mike, and I think I saw him at the gym, and I kind of saw him again actually just recently when I was posted that video of the guy that was like, I think this is the other rapper, but he got at least paid for his, and I think I saw him at the house. He was apparently the father. So I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but he said his name was Mike, I believe. A lot of Latino families, I don't want to say their names just for their sake, but there have been, I think, the ones that were making the videos, I think they've been being blackmailed now because possible illegal, they're possible illegal or whatever. So they made those videos. They were out there showing off, acting like they're the kings of the world, which okay, that's fine. But and then I just kind of said, they were saying the N-word, and I was like, do you guys don't even, do you guys even have your passport or whatever? So I think they could be getting blackmailed now because of that stuff. Just like, oh, you see, now you have to kill this guy, or else we're gonna, do what we could do lawfully anyways. But I don't want to see that happen. I actually like them. I like their parents enough. I mean, it's good, hardworking Latino guys. I hope they don't partake in like any extracurriculars, like the children's trafficking and stuff. I don't think they do. I think they're just regular, hardworking Latin folk. So I really would, I really do care about those people. Actually, they're good people. It's just like any kid. Any kids can get mind controlled by the system. You listen to all this rap crap, and you can totally get mind controlled. Bolero on Highway 18. There's a guy that works. I think they're just scum. Whoever runs that place, or at least the people that work there, they're just scummy people. There's one dude that was like definitely just a bad guy, and I saw him one time, and I could tell he was parked in front of Hesperia Police Department, and he came out and like it looked like he was about to just like come out and do the job, but then he was just like, fuck it, got back in his car and dipped. But yeah, that dude's he looks like he might have got taken in the ass in prison and kind of started taking other people in the ass. I mean, who knows? I don't know. yeah, the Lucerne Valley, really bad place over there. It's a lot of hillbillies that I think get the orphans and stuff out there, and they're their sons and daughters or whatever. And yeah, I don't think so, but they claim that. And I think they have tons of fun, and I think when they become of age, I think they kind of just naturally fall into that position of there goes the plane over my head again. They fall into like the position of just like they just do it for money, just rather than do it for free, I guess. So they kind of maybe just kind of resort to their own, and then also they can do it in pornography films for money. Um, the volleyball association of like reffing are all involved too, and the local Apple Valley community center. You can play like basketball there and stuff. And again, I think that's where like a lot of drugs get pumped in and out of, and also like the kids trafficking stuff. I don't have any proof. I don't want to say too much because then if I say too much about that specific center, then I don't know if I'll get. It's sometimes good to be quiet about some stuff and just be vague because I don't know. Anyways, that's about all I got. So I'm out.